So we recruit, hire, and train individuals to provide care to seniors and people with disabilities. And then we send those people out to the residence of the client, wherever they may be, their home, their apartment, their assisted living facility. And we provide the care that they need to typically get them through end of life.
Chris Watts had been in business in the housing industry. But when Oregon's economy was hard hit by the recession, he found himself looking for another opportunity.
But when I was in college, my favorite set of grandparents, my paternal grandparents, were getting quite older, and I ended up staying with them 2 years, being kind of a caregiver for them. And their dying wishes, they didn't want to be sent to the home. The housing bubble, shot my other business pretty hard, and I was thinking how to move forward. I worked with a franchise broker, and kind of going through all of the Q&A that he had to see what would be a good fit for me. The idea of senior care kind of came up, and it just this flood of memories, just like this. You started thinking about, yeah. And then you think about, from a purely business standpoint, the slice of pie. Here's the pie as it is today, and it's going to get exponentially larger. And it hits an apex at 2050 and starts downhill, but we don't break even until like 2095. It'll certainly outlast me and my children.
So Chris dove into the home care industry, purchasing a franchise from ComForcare. But getting his business set up the right way took time. First, it took almost a year to get all of the appropriate certification from the state. Then there was a matter of staffing.
But the bulk of our employees are what we would call a caregiver. And we hire these people in the state of Oregon. It's not a licensed position. It's anybody that we can find with the experience that we think would do it. And we hire first for heart and second for skills. And somebody that's got enough love in their heart to take care of grandma, whether it's their grandma or somebody else's grandma. And they do the bulk of the work in our company.
Chris used the typical approaches to recruiting until someone mentioned to him about the professionals at WorkSource Oregon.
So we found through that Christine over in the Oregon City office, who has just been an absolute rock star in getting us caregivers at a volume that I think is virtually unprecedented.
Because of the success he experienced in using hiring events in Oregon City, Chris now taps into the resources of each of the Portland Metro WorkSource Oregon offices.
But when we do a hiring event, Christine will send out an invite to, say, 100 people. They'll call them a week in advance and say, hey, we're looking to have you here. They'll call them the day in advance to remind them that they're going to be there in the morning, and they're taking names and kind of making a list. And by doing it that way, where there's more an aggressive outreach to them to bring them in, our numbers will go right up through the roof. And instead of getting 1 or 2 that respond, we'll get 15 to 20 that will respond. And once we get them engaged and we get them trained and we know their names and they're working, then they seem to hang on pretty good.